Maybe. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Check-In. I'm Sara Lesky. He's Jamie Thomas.
Hardest question of the day is what day is it today?
What day is it today?
Yeah.
Just before we start. Thanks so much for everyone for joining in as we get you set for tonight's game against the Ottawa Senators. It is the second game in 4 nights for the Jets, but this one kicks off back-to-back. They are in Ottawa tonight. They are in Nashville tomorrow, and they enter this game riding a 10-game win streak, a franchise record. No big deal. Longest one of the season so far in the NHL. And we will talk about more of that. And also take a look back at the game against San Jose the other night with a thrilling finish over the next 30 minutes. But we've got some great guests coming up today.
Do we ever? You may have heard of him. He coached the NHL for a very long time, including here in Winnipeg. Rick Bowness will be joining us here momentarily. That's a great get by you, by the way. I don't give you credit very often, but that's huge.
Is Matt in the chat? Matt will give me credit.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, so Rick Bowness will be joining us here momentarily. Ian Mendes. So Ian Mendes, we both worked with Ian.
Yes.
So I worked with him at Sportsnet. Sarah worked with him at TSN. Ian's done everything.
He sure has.
He's even been a mascot, which I did not know. Like when you go into Wikipedia, sometimes you find stuff. I'm like, that's gold.
I hope it's true.
Larry the Lynx, was it?
Something like that.
Yeah,
the Lynx. He's done everything, but he's covered the Senators for years and then made the transition this year into their VP of communications. And he's going to join us as well. One of the best guys in the business. So looking forward to talking to him as well. And as you mentioned, we're going to have Rick Bowness join us just momentarily, but very quickly, we want to talk a little bit about the win Monday night against San Jose, 2-1 overtime win. They are the only team, the Jets, only team to ever trail in the final minute of regulation in consecutive games and win. Just when you thought the game in St. Louis had the thrilling ending to it, even more so when it was here in a game in which I thought it looked like the Jets were going to get goalied.
Like even Rick Bowness couldn't have drawn up better than that. That's like after all the experience he has, you could not draw it up any better than that. So how many times have we seen the San Jose Sharks goalie the Jets with respective different goaltenders? Like I think James Reimer off the top of my head, but it looked like Vanacek was going to goalie the Jets. And then finally, Josh Morrissey, welcome back to the lineup, scores a big goal. And then Mark Scheifele becomes the franchise leader in goals, 329. Congratulations to him. Well-deserved. Great interview with him after the game. And it was perfect because it was here in this building in front of the fans that he got to do that record. And
he hadn't scored in 4 games going into Monday night. And
we weren't counting.
That's right. We'd stopped talking about it, as you know, on Check-In. You knew it was going to happen, and you just hoped that it was going to have the opportunity to be able to happen here on home ice instead of on the road. With their next 2 games being on the road, you wanted to see him get it done. But I thought it was interesting that when he said afterwards, as we all know, obviously his very close relationship with the late Dale Hawerchuk, that although this was a record that he very much appreciates, the one he's going after and the one that he really has his sights set on is Dale Hawerchuk's 380 goals that he had with Winnipeg Jets 1.0.
Yes.
More it. So we'll continue to watch that. You know that's a mark that he will hit in short order as well within the next couple of seasons. Helly continues to shine.
Oh my God.
You look at him, 35 wins this season, 35-7-2, 1 shutout away from breaking his own franchise record. And we will talk more about that because I want to ask you, as this season goes on and you look at the way that the Jets have continued to be able to put separation between themselves and Dallas, Minnesota, is that conversation going to start? You know where I'm going. Is the conversation going to start at some point late in March about whether or not maybe you start to dial back a little bit the starts that Connor Hellebuck has? But we will talk about that.
Yeah, we will get to it. And the only reason why we're going to not talk about it right now is because we have one of the best guests ever, and he hasn't even come on the show yet. And he's already given the best guest ever mantle. And he is Rick Bowness. No pressure, Bones. No pressure at all.
Okay. I appreciate the invite.
He just like, yes, it's so wonderful to see you, Rick. We hope that you and Judy are doing well. How is retirement? Even though we see you on TV. We see you doing media, Rick. That's not what retirement's supposed to be.
No, it's the retirement from the coaching, but we haven't retired from life. We're enjoying our life down here in Florida. In fact, this past weekend, I ran in a half marathon with my daughter Kristen. So I mentioned to the kids a couple of years, because I did one 20 years ago, and I mentioned to the kids a couple of years ago, maybe when I turn 70, I'll run in another half marathon. And I completely forgot about it. Well, Kristen last summer signed us up for this one up in Disney World in Orlando. And then she tells me, oh, by the way, Dad, we're going to run in a half marathon together. So actually we got through that in the weekend. It was more of a run walk than a run. But those are the things we've been doing, trying to spend as much time with the kids as possible and just enjoying life.
I was impressed with myself this morning, Rick, just with getting on the treadmill for 20 minutes walking, never mind doing a half marathon. So congratulations on that. Quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, we made through. It was, yeah, no, actually we had a lot of fun. And you can run through Disney World, and it's actually, they do a wonderful job with it. And there's 35,000 people running this thing. So it was quite an experience. Kristen has run it a few times. I haven't. But we had a great couple hours together on just walking and running, and I'd give her little goals to meet. You see that slide up there? Okay, we got to run up to that, then we're going to walk a bit. So we got through it.
Love it.
Well, you got through that, and you're enjoying the retirement, obviously. How are you enjoying dabbling in the other side of things, on the media side of things?
It's been fine. I don't mind that at all. It keeps me out there, and it keeps me involved in the game a little bit. Not like, I miss everything about coaching. I miss the day-to-day I miss everything about it. So this keeps me around the game a little bit. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Is it something I'd want to do full time? Probably not, but I'm enjoying dabbling in it as I have, and that's been great. So it's again, I'm going on this weekend in TNT on Sunday down here in the States. So yeah, we'll keep dabbling in it. As long as they keep asking me, I'll keep coming.
Well, I love it, but it's not just dabbling. I mean, you look at it, TNT, Sportsnet, and you've just done a tremendous job with it. Everyone always appreciates being able to hear your insight. That's always been the case for years. We want to know some of your insight with watching this Jets team. And do you look a little bit like that, whether it be proud relative of the way that this team and this coaching staff has been able to have success so far this season?
I think it's been fantastic. I'm thrilled for everyone, the ownership, Mark, and the Chipman and those guys. Mr. Thompson, they've done a fantastic job over the years. Chevy and his staff have done a fantastic job. Obviously, Arnie and this coaching staff doing a fantastic job of keeping that thing going, what we started a couple of years ago, and making it better. And it's really happy for the fans of the Winnipeg Jets and the city of Winnipeg and the province of Manitoba. You're getting great publicity all over North America. I think it's a wonderful thing what they're doing. I know they're going to keep it going. I know this is their year to make things happen in the playoffs. So I couldn't be happier for everyone involved.
Jeff O'Neill from CSN said to Shea Bones about how he wondered how the Jets would respond after losing to Colorado in the opening round last year, but he didn't expect this. Did you expect this response from the team after the meetings last year?
No, I did. Listen, it's a great group of guys in there. And so this doesn't surprise me at all. I knew they'd be motivated. If you go back to Tampa Bay a couple of years ago, before they won the Cup, they had that fantastic year. Then they got swept by Columbus. You learn from those experiences. Those as tough as it is to lose and lose like we did, those are learning experiences. And if you have the right group of guys in the room, which they do in Winnipeg for sure, they're going to take that on as an extra challenge. So I'm not surprised one bit that the guys are motivated to prove that they're a better team than we showed in the playoffs in both the last couple of years. So I'm not surprised. And again, what I love about it is the continuity of the lineup. Like the lines have been the same, the pairings have been the same, other than Dylan being gone. But Dylan Sandberg has stepped up and done a great job. So the continuity of the lineup has been very crucial to the success that they're having.
When you look at it, Rick, now when you're watching the games, I mean, you've always said that it's not just you that's the hockey lifer, but Judy is as well, how much she loves being around the game. And obviously we know all the family connections that you have that still exist within the NHL, including your son, Ryan, and the Ottawa Senators. But when you're watching, are you watching as much hockey as you used to? Do you watch it differently now?
Well, and poor Judy. She's still watching hockey games at night. So, yeah.
She goes, I just want to watch a movie.
I watch hockey every night, and so does she. But we do watch it differently. We're not breaking it down intensely like we normally would. Not watching it as close. If I'm watching what I think is a bad game, I'm flipping around till I find a good game. And if there's a commercial, I'm going back to another game. So I'm doing more flipping channels and watching more games. I'm not watching it as intently. But we are, again, poor Judy, we are watching hockey pretty much every night.
Well, Bones, we appreciate the time so much. We love seeing you. All of the comments right now in
lots
the
of
chat
love
right now. So many Jets fans saying how much they love being able to see you right now, hear from you. They're so happy that you are enjoying retirement and doing well down in Florida. And we send good wishes to you and Judy, and much love.
Thanks very much. Always great to see you, and thank you for the invite again. Finally, I got on your show.
We'll send you a t-shirt later.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, Bones.
See you, Bones.
Oh,
come on.
One of my absolute favorites. So I think I might have told you before, I'm sure over the years, but Rick Bowness, when I first broke into television out in Vancouver, and he was in short order, he was one of the coaches of Elaine Vigneault's staff.
Yeah.
And so that was when I was getting my feet wet in the business. He was part of the coaching staff. He was always so wonderful to deal with and such a great leader, as we saw obviously here with the Jets and in his various other stops around the league. But I will say that if this team goes on to have the success that obviously Jets fans are hoping to, I think that we will look back, when you look at the years as a whole, that we will look back at the hiring of Rick Bowness as being a turning point for this organization.
And I think even from the comments that we've heard consistently, how much people have appreciated what Rick Bowness did to start all of this. And you could just sense something was different when he took over. You could sense what he was talking about, the accountability that we were hoping for, even from the comment about the pushback after the series against Vegas. There was pushback the next year. And you just heard him talk about lessons learned. And even the great Edmonton Oilers in the 1980s had to lose first before they started to win Stanley Cup championships. And you just get the sense they've learned some valuable lessons. And all that conversation about being 5% better, 10% better, that wasn't just talk. And we've seen all that transpire so far. And it's incredible. And it's just so great that Rick Bowness is getting the credit that he deserves. And he's left a good legacy here with Scott O'Neill and the rest of the coaching staff.
I love the half marathon. Bones is a legend. I didn't see that one coming.
Okay, so is that on the bingo card? Bones is going to tell us you ran a half marathon.
Jeez. I was legitimately proud of myself for getting up at 6:30 this morning and getting onto the treadmill just to walk.
Okay, so now we're just showing off.
I said I walked. I didn't say I ran.
Oh yeah, we both know you weren't walking the whole time.
All right, so we will continue on though, because we do want to. We could reminisce about Rick Bowness all day, but we do also want to get set up, obviously, for this game here tonight. And Ian Mendes will join us shortly. But let's turn our attention to Ottawa. Jets didn't skate yesterday. They did have a full team skate this morning, and it's the same lines. It's what we saw, which really shouldn't be a surprise, that barring injury, we weren't expecting, I don't think, any changes.
No, I don't.
There was a call up.
Yes, Jared Anderson-Dolan has been recalled.
But that was just, they have a roster spot. And so with some that were maybe a little banged up after the game in San Jose and with games on back-to-back nights, they wanted to make sure that they had someone there as kind of the safety.
And sometimes in these situations, players who do well in the American Hockey League get rewarded for these opportunities. And Jared Anderson-Dolan has been getting rave reviews from the Moose coaching staff. So maybe an opportunity for him to play tomorrow in Nashville, but we'll have to wait and see. But the lineup's still the same outside of Connor Hellebuck will be starting a goal. Or it was no change. Sorry, I apologize. I'm confusing my games. Connor Hellebuck back-to-back starts now.
Yes.
And we'll face the Ottawa Senators here tonight.
So you would think that Eric Comrie will start tomorrow night, obviously in Nashville. As for Ottawa, it was an optional skate this morning. They have certainly had their struggles, and they've certainly had their injuries that they've had to deal with as well. No Brady Tkachuk for the game today. He did practice briefly with the team yesterday, not for the full practice. Didn't know whether or not he might be able to go, but no, he will not be in the lineup. No Josh Norris or Shane Pinto. Those are huge holes for the Sens to continue to deal with. They've lost their last 4 games, outscored 19-7 in the process, and they're just trying to hang on. So to not have those players in the lineup, obviously a boost with the Jets for the Jets coming in, because we know the capabilities of those players and the impacts that they can have, but a big loss for the Senators, who are right in the mix, which I was looking at the wild card standings in the East today. You've got Detroit in the first wild card spot with 66, Columbus with 64, then right behind there, Ottawa 62, the Rangers 62, Boston 62. So while there's separation in various areas of standings across the league, certainly not when you look at the wild card position. And this is a Sens team that has not been in the postseason since 2017.
So this is what always kind of carries into the conversation about trades and stuff going on right now. It's the East is kind of cluttering things up because there are multiple teams that have an opportunity to make the playoffs. So maybe that slows down the trade market. But talking to a lot of people down in Boston this past weekend, it sounds like it's going to be pretty hectic at the deadline. And what that means for the Winnipeg Jets, we don't know. But that Mikko Rantanen, the whole situation with Carolina continues to be...
That's fascinating.
It is bizarre.
It is.
I'm sitting there thinking when they make that trade, they've just made sure they've added some quality scoring up front, but it's just about the numbers and the contract that he wants to sign. But I never saw this in a million years where you put out the quality players you have that you traded with the Avalanche, and you think Mikko Rantanen is going to be the piece that the Carolina Hurricanes were hoping for come playoff time to get them over the hump. And now he might not even be a Hurricane when the playoffs begin. It is a bizarre situation going on with the Hurricanes.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And you think that March 7th is the trade deadline. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens in the league over the next week in a bit. And we thought that Mikko Rantanen trade was going to set off a firestorm potentially, and that there was going to be so much action that would be really quiet. And then we've seen it quiet down over the last couple of weeks, obviously with the break. And then we'll expect it to heat up. But lots of intrigue going on, and the Ottawa Senators will undoubtedly be one of those teams that people are watching as well to see what sort of options happen.
I mean, the fact that he's even in the conversation, and there's lots of names popping up. You know, Nick Kypreos has another trade board today. Frank Saravalli obviously has numerous updates to his trade board as well. You're just hoping for those guys coming up with the long shows to fill up, including James Duthie, who we'll have on the show tomorrow. You're hoping something's going to go on here, but with what's going on with Winnipeg right now, they've won 10 straight. You've just extended Vladislav Namestnikov. You have this continuation of players that want to stay here in Winnipeg that have been here and are part of the culture now. What else do you add to it? That's what you're wondering. What pieces would fit in, and as we know, our fit is going to be important. Chemistry.
Yep.
Do they fit in the locker room? How do they fit into the lineup?
I think it's a very fine line. And you look, I think we talked about this the other day about you can add pieces into the lineup, but that doesn't necessarily equate into having success. Getting the prize number one player on the trade bait board doesn't always relate to success in terms of the postseason. In fact, often we see that it isn't the big fish, so to speak, that makes the biggest impact, or that team has the most success. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with all of it. Quickly, Connor Hellebuck, 7 in a row tonight. As we said, he has just been demolishing his career best. He has currently got a 2.04 goals against average, a 925 save percentage. He has 30, so most wins in a season for him was 37 over the last 2 years. As I mentioned, he's got 35 already, and he's only started 44 games this season.
Oh, it's just wild, the numbers he's putting up. Something is wild. Our next guest is coming up, but we cannot bring Ian in without showing a part of his legend.
Okay.
Ian Mendes is a legend in many ways. So we're going to show, and I know he's going to, second we pull this up, he's going to know what we're talking about. He's going to remember this. It was a very painful time in his career. Please watch and learn as we go along here.
Saw Ian Mendes, one of his stories on Brian Wilson. Well, this is what happened right before he came back live on TV, hit with a baseball. Watch him suck it up. Mendes, you're on in 3, 2, 1. Mendes, you're on. Go, go, go.
So the thing about Brian Wilson, guys, some good news for him on the injury front. About 5 days ago, he threw his first pitches since the injury. Is
that guy pro or what?
So we're going to bring him in. Ian Mendes. Okay, so
not cool, guys.
that is some legendary moments. You got absolutely drilled by a baseball in the ankle. And what that video didn't show is the producer in your ear telling you to essentially suck it up. And you did a great job of it. So a lot of respect that you buckled down, focused, and took care of business. But man, to get drilled by a baseball and then go on live television, hats off to you, sir.
Oh, guys, it's been 13 years.
You'll never live it down, though.
People don't forget. People don't forget.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about it? Any thoughts? Prayers, hopes, dreams,
hopes. Oh my gosh! I hope we get a win tonight. Does that help? I can dream about a win tonight.
Okay, I can see you're not biting on this one. So
no,
what we're going now is you're a man of the worn many hats, many hats: radio, television, writing, and now PR again. And then I heard you were a mascot. So you want to deal with that at all?
This is not my fault. Like this is,
she is trying to talk me up the ledge on this one, but I'm like, I got to find out about Larry the Lynx or whatever that was. But you were a mascot at some point. True or false?
Yeah, true. Lenny the Lynx.
Lenny the Lynx. Sorry.
Giant, oversized cat. This is for the old baseball team. The AAA baseball team in Ottawa was the Ottawa Lynx, farm team of the Montreal Expos. And when I just graduated from Carleton out of the J School program, I was in the media relations department working for a guy that, if you've worked in hockey media for a while, you know Steve Keogh is the head of the Toronto Maple Leafs PR department. He was my boss with the Lynx, and one day the mascot wasn't available to do an in-game promotion where you had to like race around and let a kid beat you in the race. And so I had to put on the cat costume and run from first base to third base in between innings and let the kid beat me. Let's be honest, the kid was going to beat me anyway. But yeah, I wore the cat costume.
I don't even know how to follow up the cat costume.
See, I knew that question was perfect. So that story ties.
That's right. Yes. He really just wants me to be quiet.
Yeah.
It comes down to. I do want to ask though, look, we mentioned all the different hats that you've worn and the job that you are doing now as VP of Communications with the Ottawa Senators and doing a great job with it. Well, how have you found the transition going into it? Because this is an organization and this is a team that you covered for decades and know so well. How has it been being on the other side?
Well, I think both of you kind of know this path a little bit, right? Even though like you're not on the PR side so much as you're, obviously on content, but you know what it's like to cover a team and then all of a sudden, as Sara, especially you in particular, right? Like you cover the team and now you're kind of working for the team. Mine is a complete, like, I don't think there's a strong enough whiplash, right? For a lot of people that think about, me as a reporter, then all of a sudden jumping the fence and doing PR. I think what really helped was I had a relationship with a lot of the players, like, I would say a good, strong, healthy, professional relationship with a good core of the players here. And got to know Michael Andlauer a little bit in covering him, got to know Steve Staios a little bit in covering. So when an opportunity arose at the end of the summer, I think there was a little bit of familiarity on both sides that sort of helped that process along. But it's certainly, I think I've gotten, what I haven't quite gotten used to is, wait a minute, like I'm cheering for the team to win. Like it's so weird. Like, that part is really weird, but I'm there now, but it's felt weird at times to actually be cheering when the Senators score a goal.
Okay, so somebody you're obviously cheering for is Brady Tkachuk, the captain of the Senators, a little banged up after Four Nations face-off. Let's talk about his popularity as with amongst Senators fans. You had the skills competition the other day. He was not taking part, but what did Brady do that just everyone loves?
Yeah, and this is great. He wanted to be part of that skills competition because it's a fun day. It's an easy day. He couldn't go, but he went on both. He went to both the visitors tunnel and the home tunnel. And if you guys know how most arenas are, there's usually about 100 kids hanging over those railings, right, yelling, "Give me a stick!" And do you also not find that kids have gotten just so aggressive now? Like,
I know. It wasn't just a puck now; it's a stick.
Yeah, and it's not, excuse me, Mr. Kachuk, may I please have a stick? It's, give me a stick. But there was probably, and I'm going to say, my estimate, I think that I put out was about 500. And I think he signed about 500-600 autographs. Wow. And you should have seen the scene where the kids were just leaning over there yelling, Brady, and he kept, like, people were throwing jerseys at him. And at one point he had to say, okay, stop throwing the jerseys.
Yeah.
I promise I will no, he said, nobody's going home here without one, without an autograph. I will get to you. Just don't worry. And he did. And it was remarkable. And you know, you guys talk about the popularity. Like for us, when Brady sent us a note, we found out that he was going to go on with the Kelsey brothers. And, you know, we set up our little content studio and we had the lights, you know, set it all up. And then all of a sudden, you see, you're thinking to yourself, like, that's Taylor's boyfriend just came up on our screen, right? Like it's crazy. Like that level of popularity from essentially a 1 week tournament. It's remarkable.
I love that you said that that's Taylor's boyfriend.
Yeah. Not the word I would use, but that's okay.
Well, I love that because Ian is a diehard Cowboys fan. So it's like he can't bring himself to be like, oh, this great tight end. Oh, Travis, no. He's like, no, if we're going to refer to Kelsey, it's just Taylor's boyfriend.
Yeah. That's a lot of respect carrying in that one, my friend.
Just very quickly, I know that you guys are on the bubble, Ian, right now for it. How can you just describe kind of what it's been like around the city right now? As I think, you know, there's hopefully so much optimism that maybe this can be the year that the Sens can get back in and we can see another Canadian team in the postseason. Because I think that regardless of which team anyone cheers for, you want to see as many Canadian teams as possible.
Yeah, you know, and Sarah, you said to me earlier, you know, Ian, you're doing a great job with PR. This is a great example because that headline just said Sens moving in the right direction. And we've lost 4 games in a row. We don't have Brady Tkachuk, Josh Norris, and Shane Pinto. But look, I'm doing my job. This seems positive to me.
So I should have put a question mark at the end of that one.
No, like I think if you told Ottawa, exactly. I think if you told Ottawa fans that look, we've only played 1 game since the 4-nation restart. And unfortunately, that was a loss to Montreal. But if like going into 4 Nations, we were sitting in a playoff spot. And if you told any Ottawa fan at the start of the year, the Senators would be sitting in a playoff spot at the 4 Nations break, would you take it? And the answer would be yes. Like this has been an 8-year playoff drought. Like to put that into context, there's only 2 other teams in the NHL. Detroit is at 1 year longer than us, and Buffalo, who hasn't made the playoffs since 2011. And just to understand, like we haven't been in the playoffs in 8 years in this market. So the idea that we're in a legitimate playoff race, not just you know, maybe if this and this and this happens, in many ways it feels like this team controls its own destiny. And majority of the games are at home. Obviously it's going to be a tough one tonight with your Jets rolling in on a 10-game winning streak and us being a bit shorthanded. But I think big picture, there's a ton of enthusiasm here that this could finally be the year where, you know, we break through. And I'm with you, Sarah. Like, it would be great if, you know, Ottawa makes the playoffs. That was a bubble team. Like Calgary's in the mix, and I don't think people thought that was a possibility. Like that we could maybe have 5 Canadian teams, 6 if we're being super greedy. Like this has been a remarkable year for a bunch of teams here in Canada.
Absolutely.
Man, like it was nice catching up with you, and I'm sorry that I had to bring out the video. I told Sarah it was a bad idea. We should not bring up the.
That's not that. There's no way you said that.
I said, look, this will besmirch his reputation.
Yes.
Oh, besmirch. Good word.
Samantha, yes.
There's the word.
No. And it would not, because everybody, what you would have seen, Ian, is that so many people in the chat were talking about what an absolute pro you were to be able to turn it on like that. As soon as that red light came on, you were A+.
Who was the camera guy with you on that one?
That was Mike Bradley from Vancouver.
Nice. Bradley from Vancouver. Nicely done.
All right. Well,
okay, bud.
Hey, Ian, appreciate it so much. We wish the Sens much success, not tonight, obviously, but going forward. And we hope that we can talk to you about the postseason sometime in the future as well.
Let's connect mid-June, Game 4, Sens and Jets.
Oh my Lord.
Could you imagine an all Canadian Cup final?
That's
Oh.
way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's think about it. We can dream.
Love it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Buddy,
Thanks
nice
so much,
office. Talk to you soon. Ian Mendes.
Two of the nicest people were our guests today.
I know.
Rick Bowness and then Ian Mendes, one of the best guys that you would have found in the business. Those made the transition over onto the PR side, doing a fantastic job with the Senders as well. The market is very lucky, an organization very lucky to have him.
I think they knew that. And that's why they hired him. So flat out. Did they phone you for a recommendation?
They should have.
I
You know
know.
what? I would have given a glowing one.
Ian could be prime minister with your recommendation.
Probably.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, just very quickly as we get ready to wrap up tonight, going into this game against Ottawa. Quickly, no lineup changes for the Jets. Connor Hellebuck going to get the start. Again, he will be going up against Linus Ullmark for the Senators. The Sens, we don't know what their lines are going to look like, but we do know that they are playing shorthanded in terms of being without Brady Tkachuk, no Josh Norris, no Shane Pinto. They are going to go, according to Claire Hanna from TSN, they're going with 11 forwards, 7D tonight. So also, just very quickly, I did notice this was something that the Senators had in their game notes. This is the fourth time the Sens have faced a team riding a 10-game win streak.
Holy moly.
And they have never won the game, being the Sens. So knock on wood, maybe it continues, and maybe the Jets extend to a franchise-winning 11th straight win tonight.
It's like exciting times here right now.
It is. It's great. It's great to see so many people in the chat. We see so many of you excited about this as well. And so they play tomorrow night in Nashville.
We have pregame show at 12:30.
We do.
We do.
So
James Duthie is joining us, and we're going to find another guest. That's just what we do. Somebody.
That's what someone does.
We always do. Oh, because you found Duthie, I have to find a guest. I got you. Okay. You are rolling. Seriously, you could tell the rest did you some good because you have brought your A game the last two ones. So I can't say the same. Matt, quiet. All right, everybody.
It's great to see so many of you in the chat. We hope you join us again tomorrow. As always, you can always watch us on X, Facebook, YouTube as well. If you don't catch us live, enjoy the game tonight, everyone. It's on Sportsnet. You can listen as always on CJOB.
All right, everybody.
Have a great day.